Mark Walsh here from the Embodied Facilitator course and Embodied Yoga Principles. So I want to talk today a little bit about pleasure. So I love pleasure. I think pleasure is not really given its due in a lot of systems of embodiment. So why might pleasure be useful or a good thing? Well, pleasure calls us to attention. Yeah. Pleasure calls us to the body, as does pain actually, but certainly of the two I know which way I'd like to be called. It can also be like feeling into the body. Yes, there can be a layer of discomfort when we realise we've become dissociated, or we got aches and pains from sitting at the computer like I have half the day today. There can be that level, but then there's this other level of being deeply the deep pleasure of just the out breath, or just of sitting down, and and that can really be a great gateway into wanting to be body aware. So rather than being a chore, for me, just sitting and doing, say, basic body awareness meditation is real pleasure. There's a real beauty in that, and it's like a self-reinforcing loop, Pavlovian loop, where you can get more and more embodied as you get more and more into the pleasure. And it can be, sexual pleasure or some extreme sport or something like that, but it can also just be sitting, breathing. The pleasure of just being a body, for me, is absolutely delightful, and I don't think I would continue with the embodied art if it wasn't a joy. I think to find joy in your practice is really important. Like if you're going to really get into embodiment, you're going to do embodied practices, go against the stream, to steal a phrase from the Buddha, against the world, the trends in modern culture. It needs to be pleasurable, and need to find something that's enjoyable. So there's the subtle pleasure of just being in a body, being embodied, and then there's the pleasure of the activity you're doing. I mean, one of the main reasons I practice Aikido still, even though my main art now is probably yoga, Aikido for me is just a huge joy. Like, it's this aesthetic pleasure of moving, of being, of connecting with other people, the pleasure of the relational body. So I think pleasure needs to be given its due. Like this sort of slightly Calvinist Christian, and it's also in certain esoteric Eastern traditions of being like self-flagellating. If it's hard, it must be good. Only hard yoga that hurts is good for you. Actually, I think quite the opposite. By following pleasure, we can follow some real intuitive sense. We can unravel the body. We can access emotional states, wisdom, blah, blah, blah. So in praise of pleasure in regard to embodiment.